Dear government and Ant Group leaders, I'm Lian, development leader of Ant Forest, version 2.3. Based on the existing Ant Group application that allow users donate single trees to Chinese Great-Green Wall, this project proposes an updating where users can design, experience their virtual forest in phone, and monitor their real forest far away in Chinese Great-Green Wall, which they may or may not use, but opens for appropriation beyond design. The presentation will first go through Chinese Great-Green Wall history, the existing app, and then experience the new app through the lead of actual involvers. The planting of trees into Great-Green Wall has gone on for over 2,000 years. This planting has always been understood as a form of large-scale organized labor led by the government for the long-term national values. First case is Song Dynasty Defensive Forest. The royal power of Song orders to create this barrier for territorial defending. Garrisons and farmers, driven by tax policies, created marshes and dense elm forest to screen out the cavalry attack, while at the same time, the cultivation of forest regulated their everyday life. Second case is shelter-belt forest at Mao's time to defend agriculture from desertification. Hieratic afforestation is a prerequisite of land reclamation and industrial development in the post-war urban construction. Individuals in the collective are bounded by the same ideology, standards, and labor arrangements. As a result, forest as a defensive barrier to foreign attacks and natural disasters also serves to create clear boundaries and identitarian projects, identity, unity, meaning, some sense and purpose and goals, to educate and mobilize planters into the endless production. Designers and tree planters both see the forest as a form of peripheral control, while the spatial quality of the sheltered interior has no intention to plan any human forms of order or impose any ideologies, turned out to be the perfect misusing place for inhabiting outlaws and misfiters standing against sovereignty and collective, such as revolting farmers at Song, hiding their trees in defensive forest, and the educated youth within planting collective during Mao's period, but discussing banned books inside forest. These conditions repeat through history that the disciplined planters don't involve with physical forest, while the rebels of the system become spatial participants of forest. For environmental sustainability, the present Ant Forest enable users to donate trees to the rigid formatting of state-controlled shelter belt projects through carbon reduction activities. 500 million app users would willingly volunteer their time, energy, efforts, and thoughts to plant and take care of trees on their phones. Shopping, commuting, working, everything they do every day devotes to the Great-Green Wall, on the rewarding nature of gamified application and the learned methods of environmental protection. From defending territory, reclaiming wasteland to sustainability, the narrative of afforestation changes, while the mobilization of labor continues, but more dominating and invisible. And is indexed in the Great-Green Wall history that the relief of intense forest protection is actually being channeled through the updating of more and more sophisticated version of Great-Green Wall itself. I'm designing the updated version of the app that will enhance users' emotional attachment. It allows users to make decisions of their sites, tree species, arrangements, fixed dunes to shape the terrain, and immersively experience the results forest through virtual gaming and real-site surveillancing to follow up the consistent ecosystem improving, helped by most updated technique. Wang Qiang is in charge of interface design and also a user of the app. To constantly update the app, she sometimes even needs to sleep at office for a few days. Every day she wakes up, checking her tree via her phone, taking care of them by walking, commuting, eating, and shopping. Under such incredible pressure, the design of tree icons was taken as a way to motivate her against anxiety. She started to pay more attention to the design of such lovely icons, which make her feel a sense of relief. Here are the 3 actual user groups who engaged in our internal beta version. First group is college students sharing a narrow accommodation. They have highly overlapping privacy spaces and limited temporary sharing desks for public using. They need to go out and consume for any other entertainment or focusing needs, which is financial burden for in-college students. Thus, they wish for a thick bounded forest with wide open party or focusing areas formed by grey elm, and noticeable private personal areas formed by populous diversifolia in the desert, to enable whether noisy holiday hangouts or isolated study camp before deadlines. Second user is a female mid-school teacher within the rigid educational system. Surrounded by naughty students at school and chores at home, she found nowhere to stay with herself for self-learning and novel writing. She wished for a small forest in the edge of city, with boundary formed by dense grey elm and haloxicas to offer a sequestered shelter, and an enclosure in the center, a huge, beautiful, populous diversifolia to lean against and read underneath, so that she can stay here alone at vacation for months. And also Wang Jinglong's programmer's team. To speed up the planting, he invited colleagues to join the forest. Their current working environment is greatly arranged in an open large space without privacy. In the design of the forest, they imagine a private working environment. The freely arranged trees form large and small enclosures and different densities, provide different visibility, so there varies quality of space to work together or lays by themselves. Here is how the new app works, introduced by Wang Jinglong. Hi, I'm Wang Jinglong in Group 3, working as a programmer in Beijing. This work requires me to stay on touch 24/7. Apart from work, I like to decorate and experience my new ant forest. Here I can escape the pressure of work. The game turns my daily activities into real trees. Every day I can see from CCTV that my forest is slowly realizing, thousands of miles away in Tangled Desert. In order to get green energy, I will get up early and run to work, handing work documents and attend meetings at online community, order dishes and pay with phone. When I conduct low-carbon activities, I can collect green energy from ant forest, and the virtual tree watered by this energy will grow up. Once accumulated the corresponding energy, a virtual tree in the forest is formed. To start designing a forest, I can find out a plot from ranges of weather zoning in the app, maybe on sides of the roads, in the windbreaks near city, or in the herdsman's village in the edge of the desert. Based on the local terrain information and the weather data such as temperature, soil moisture, and sunlight duration, system will arrange the different species options and soil treating techniques. Take my forest as an example. I pick a site beside the highway across desert with existing grid of shelter belt haloxicon. The system suggests the new PVA sand barrier techniques to stabilize the sand dunes, so I can choose different size and geometry to design the terrain, and select from provided tree species, shrub options to form forest. Every spring, Ant Group will sort the confirmed planting tasks and assign to Cooperated Charity Foundation C. According to the monitored transitional ecological system of each block, Ant Forest will program out updating technical guidance with timeline to site office, aiming for long-term environmental improvements. First stage is the layout of the infrastructure by constructors. Foundations will use Ant Group's planting subsites for building water conservancy, climate station, and CCTV. And second stage is planting by cooperated local farmers. Foundations will help purchasing and transporting saplings and educate them to plant trees and other profitable byproducts. This is herdsman Ye Yushen responsible for Wangjinglong's forest plots. From sand barriers to grass to shrub to tree, the planting slowly transformed the ecosystem. It can be observed that 3 years after infrastructure construction, sand fiction, the plot will form natural grasslands and the groundwater level rises, gradually be able to nurture increasing density of vegetation and trees. In the end, users will get an imaginary and real forest, connected by the interfaces and CCTV. The new app and its construction of desire will keep motivating app users to make devotion to their fantasy forest through their life, everywhere, every day. Although they might consequently trap too deep in work or use the forest, or have to leave it behind, but they all devote to the accelerating, expanding forest full of creativity that will constantly justify the political achievements of Great Green Wall. And users, farmers, app designers, national medias, or planting producers in the system would love to show off their appreciation of the fantasy forest, no matter what the forest will really be used for. But certain spatial conditions formed by the forest might trigger others to use the forest in a way that neither the original designers using the interface, nor the government, nor end group, and app designers ever intended.